Hello students and parents, this is Mr. Smith and I want to welcome you to the 2020-2021 school year in 4th grade. So we are in 4th grade together, looking forward to our year, and so I just want to certainly say welcome to all of you. Have a couple of little memes here for you. Kids, perhaps this is how you're going to look on the first day of school when you haven't seen your friends since March. Some of you have not seen some of your classmates since then. And parents, you're probably going to feel like this a little bit, jumping for joy that kids are finally going back to school. The kids in here aren't overly happy on that particular picture, but I'm going to guess, kids, that you are looking forward to school, being back, seeing your friends, and getting your brain exercised. And in 4th grade, we do a lot of really fun, cool activities, a lot of things that we work on, and I'm looking forward to teaching you and learning along with you. I want to share just a little about myself here. This is my 23rd year in school, in education that is, and you can see the different grade levels that I've taught there. Also done some coaching, including both basketball and swimming. Huge into sports. Go Pack Go. I know I got a few Viking fans in here. We'll have a lot of fun. Enjoy reading, lots of technology. We'll use a good amount of technology. The first couple of weeks especially, we're going to be focusing on technology and making sure that kids are able to use it and able to get onto it at home, for in case we do have some of that distance learning this year. And for me personally, I love taking stuff apart. I fix people's iPhones, I fix computers and Chromebooks, and so it's just something that I've always enjoyed ever since I was a kid, just to learn how things work. Next thing I want to share a little bit about is Orientation Day. So Orientation Day mostly is going to be done via Zoom, and you can actually see the 3 times here. You're going to get an email from me, parents, to the links for each of those times coming up next week. But Tuesday, September 1st, we have several times reserved for some in-person conferences if you are interested in that. For the most part, 10 to noon is our time for new families to Westside to have a conference with the teacher. If that applies to you, please email me and we'll get a time set up that you can come on in, give you a little tour of Westside, and of course, remember your face mask. 1 to 3:30, early conferences. Now, in the past, I've conferenced with all of my students, but because of COVID this year, I'm not going to do that. Like I said, for the most part, most of us are going to be doing the Zoom meeting, but parents, I will invite you to have a face-to-face conference with me. If you feel there's something really important for me to know about your child, about your family situation, anything like that, your child's learning ability, those sorts of things, you are more than welcome to send me an email and we will set up a time where we can meet for 20 minutes or so face-to-face here in the classroom. You're welcome to bring your child during that one-on-one, or if it just wants to be you, or if you just want to be 2 parents involved in me, that's fine as well. So I'm open to that. Again, please just send me an email if you would like to set up that time. Otherwise, I will see you via Zoom at one of these times. Now, we know that you may have multiple children at Westside, and if that's the case, as you can see here, 4:45 and 5:30 are the times that we are doing our Zoom meetings, kindergarten through 5th grade. So just pick the times that are going to work best for you. We do have it by last name, as you can see here, A through H, the 4 o'clock time, I through P, 4:45, and that Q through Z time is 5:30. But again, if you have a 2nd grader, for example, and a 4th grader, maybe you're going to go to the 4 o'clock time for your 2nd grader, and then come to the 4:45 time or the 5:30 time for your 4th grader. Make it work for your schedule, all right? Next, I want to talk about our classroom, and I actually want to show it to you instead, but I am going to put it up here in terms of what are different ways that I'm trying to make this as healthy as possible for our whole classroom. And these things have been approved and been a part of all of the thinking and talking that our administrative task force has done. So I'm just going to put these up here for a moment so you can read through them, and then I'll scroll down so you can see a few more. So a few things I want to point out on here. One of them is our outside classroom time. We're going to actually have some tents that we can set up, those open walled tents, and we're going to have some opportunity to be out there for some class time. We also are going to not only work on or keep the physical health, but also the social and emotional health. And so we're going to be increasing our guidance times with Mrs. Everson. I want to talk a little about sitting next to friends. And so one of the things I'm going to do in this email is I'm going to also send you the class list, and I'd like your child to look through that class list and pick several friends who he or she might possibly want to sit next to. And so we're going to have assigned spots in here. for our times. And those kids who are sitting next to each other, they're pretty much going to be together throughout a good portion of the day, not only in our classroom, but also at the lunchroom and so forth. First 3 weeks of school, focusing a lot on the social emotional as well as some of the tech. All right. So I'm going to pause the video here for a second, and I'm going to be able to flip the camera around and give you a view of our classroom, and then I'll conclude with that. All right, students and parents, I'm going to go ahead and walk into our classroom. There's a fan on out in the hall here, so I'm going to go ahead and close the door behind me. One of the things I want to share with you is the idea of the cohort model. Now, we have 21 students in our classroom, and we cannot physically have ourselves at 6 feet apart each. So the cohort model says, all right, as a class, you will physically distance from all the other classes within your school. So our 4th grade classroom will social distance from Mrs. Lindquist's class and Mrs. Johnson's class and every class that's in our grade or is in our building. In addition to that, you have the idea of micro-cohorting. So as you can see, I've got 7 groups here, 7 tables within our classroom. And at each table, we're going to have 3 kids. This is considered a micro-cohort. These 3 kids, for the most part, will stay together whenever they are working in the classroom, whenever they are lining up to go somewhere, as well as when they are in the lunchroom. In addition to that, by the way, I will find some seating for this particular table. One of the other things that I've done to help with keeping ourselves healthy is I've installed these drawers underneath here so that kids can put their materials in here. I used to have community supplies that were on the table that all the kids would use, but now we have individual supplies. So parents, please label everything that your child has for supplies to bring. One of the things that you'll notice on here is our classroom is a bit of a pilot in terms of the sneeze guards here. I've used some of my classroom budget. I also like to, as my grandpa used to say, wheel and deal on eBay. And some of the things that I've sold and fixed up from the things I like to take apart and resell, then I've invested into the classroom so that we could have these sneeze guards. I see them in stores, coffee shops, banks, pretty much everywhere else. And so I thought, all right, I can create these. And so I've been able to do that. We are going to have times throughout the day that we won't have our masks on. For example, when we're having snack. There are times that we'll have some mask breaks. We'll do most of those outside. But just an additional barrier to hopefully keep the health of our students and our class in the right place. So like I was saying, we have these micro cohorts. Each of these groups are 6 feet apart from each other. We've been directed that if kids are next to each other for 15 minutes, that's especially when you want to try to do as much physical distancing as possible or having that barrier, and definitely have the masks as well. Each of our kids will have a Chromebook, so they'll be assigned a Chromebook, and that'll be something that we use a lot of that technology with. They'll also have additional spaces. So for example, this micro cohort right here will have some shelf space right here that they'll actually share with me to put some of their things in and so forth that they'll be using. Additionally, I want to share that our classroom has individual snacks, and I have our snack bins back here right now. And each of the kids will get one of these snack bins, and they are in charge of their own snacks. So we won't have any community types of snacks, but anything that's going to be able to fit into one of these here. I'll see if I can get one off here without spilling all of these so that you can have a little bit better look at them, the size of them. And they come with the caps, of course, too. And we'll have those in their cohort area. But this is what they can keep their snack in. Pretty good sized bucket. So that'll be something that you should communicate with your child as well. I will get back to you on what community snacks in terms of like birthdays would be. Other than that, though, this is a sneak peek into our classroom. I wanted to finish off with, of course, our wonderful Aaron Rodgers here, who will overwatch us throughout the year. We are 4th grade, and we learn about Wisconsin history, so we'll learn about the Green Bay Packers, whether you are a fan or not. And then this is how I look sometimes on Wednesdays especially. So just going to kind of finish with that. I love the Minions. They're a lot of fun, and so we'll have some fun in here. I'm looking forward to working with your students. And so kids, I hope you have a great rest of your summer here in the next couple weeks, and I will see you soon within our classroom. Parents, if you have any types of questions, comments, concerns about the setup of our classroom, anything about orientation day, please feel free to email me. Otherwise, I will be in contact with you more about our orientation day coming up.